From Relay FM, this is Connected, episode number 36. Today's show is brought to you by Igloo, an internet you'll actually like, Hover, simplified domain management, and Wealthfront, the automated investment service that makes it easy to invest your money the right way. My name is Myke, and I'm joined by the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net and the co-host of the virtual podcast on Relay FM, Mr. Federico Viticci.
Hey, Myke.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am very well indeed, and I'm also joined by the managing director of 512pixels.net and the co-founder-in-chief of Relay FM, Mr. Stephen Hackett.
I sound fancier than I really am, but I'll roll with it.
The journalism magnate, Mr. Stephen Hackett.
I like it.
This is my new thing, you know? Just, I like to make you guys feel really important.
See, it's weird because Federico has people working for him on his site, but me, it's just me. So it's like managing director of my MacBook Pro.
I don't know. You have people write some stuff for you sometimes. I've written things for you in the past. You know, it's not as lonely as you make it out to be.
Blogging is a lonely gig.
Oh.
But podcasting is not, because we are here with our friends. With our friends on Skype and our friends in the chat room and our friends out there in the world. So it's I'm feeling the love today.
Do we have any friends really in this world?
Oh my.
God.
I'm
Federico.
way too sleepy to get this deep.
I don't know, just think about it. I feel like I want to explore this idea, you know?
You're going to end up crying alone in a bathroom.
Probably, yeah. Or on an island, I don't know.
Just up front today, I'm reserving the right to get super weird because I arrived from Atlanta this morning into London and spent the day. I fell asleep randomly at one point today, which I hate that. I hate that so much because you wake up and don't know what day it is anymore. So I'm very, very tired, but I'm committed to Connected, you know? So I wanted to do the show today. So here we are.
Where did you fall asleep exactly?
Where?
Yeah.
I was on my bed.
Okay. So not too weird.
No.
Not like the supermarket.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like you fall asleep in the middle of the street. That can be, kind of strange. But in your bed, I can understand that.
Well, I fell asleep in bed and I woke up in the supermarket. So, I'm not really 100% sure what happened, but everything's okay,
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. Seems fine. Seems fine. We're gonna get to Atlanta though, but first we have some follow up. So people have been charged, some people at least, for their Apple Watches. Myke, have you been charged, and do you have a ship date?
I was charged like an hour ago. Actually, no, let me change it. I was charged for my Apple Watch like about 2 hours ago, and I'm now preparing for dispatch with delivery from the 24th of April to the 8th of May still.
Dispatch is a shipment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
People always point this out to me. They label it different in the UK. So we have preparing for dispatch and dispatched, rather than preparing for shipment. So I think if we're preparing for dispatch, I'm feeling pretty good about Friday right now.
Yeah, you will get it on Friday.
Well, don't say that. You'll build my hopes up. I'm really not looking forward to. I hate just this process, like of having to wait at home for it. Like I hate it because it never goes right for me. Like they always say, "Oh, we tried to deliver and you weren't home," and then I have to call people liars on the phone every time we have to go through this. And I really don't want to have to go through this, but here we are.
Hey, maybe you fell asleep when they try to
That's a good
deliver to deliver your stuff.
No, let's not tell these people that. So we'll find out. Hopefully, I'll get it on Friday. This is why I really wanted to be able to go into a store and buy one, but Angela Arendt, she has her own agenda, and it's not the same as mine.
I don't think that lays at her feet.
No, I think it does. I'm blaming her completely. No, she signed the notes, man. What can I say?
My guess is that it has much more to do with stock levels, but
so we'll blame the person in charge of the supply chain then instead.
So Federico, what about you?
I'm still waiting. I'm still going to the German website, and I'm still getting all my German messages about that the order is processing and my credit card has not been charged. Even if today I got one guy on Twitter, another Italian Apple Watch wannabe customer, who tried to do my same technique, only he did it in France. He bought an Apple Watch from the French store, and his order was on 4 to 6 weeks, just like mine, and it got moved up to Friday, and mine didn't. So lucky.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm really.
What did he order though? What did he order?
Did he? I don't remember. See, I don't remember. Trying to look now. I don't know. I can't find the guy on Twitter anymore. Still, I don't have a good feeling about this. So I think I will have to wait and look at my German messages.
Yeah.
Just wait for maybe next week when there's the Apple earnings call. They will say
address
something.
where your watch is.
No. Maybe they will say something about the second wave of launch countries. Maybe, hopefully. Although I got some doubts, because of all the supply chain problems.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, the second wave is kind of pointless to you because you have one in Germany.
Well, do I? I mean, it's stuck on the website. I mean, the delivery date is from the 12th of May to 26th of May. So, it's basically another month of waiting. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this at all. It's probably the Germans. I'm kidding, by the way. I know that we got a lot of German listeners. We love you. We love you all the same. So yeah, I'm still waiting. Long answer. Sorry, Steven.
No, it's fine. Mine is still processing, and I have not been charged on my credit card. But Bradley Chambers reminded me of this the other day, that a lot of times Memphis will be used because FedEx is here for Apple and other companies. I'm most familiar with Apple, to stage shipments. So it's very possible that mine is in town, and if that is true, then I probably won't get shipping information until Wednesday or Thursday, even if it's to be delivered on Friday. And that's how my iPhones have been in the past. Like my iPhone 6, I got shipped to my house, and I had the tracking number in hand for about 12 hours before it showed up. So I'm not freaking out yet. It still says delivered 4/24 through 5/8. So we'll see. We'll see if it's just around the bend.
The deliveries app, the app deliveries?
Yes.
It really doesn't. I've just realized it really doesn't like the UK date format, because it's telling me that I will have my watch by the 5th of August.
Fine.
Which is fine, we don't need to worry about this thing.
What if you do get it on the 5th of August?
I will be really upset. That would suck so bad.
I mean, there's plenty of time to sleep, until August.
That's a good point.
You can recover. You can sleep every day, and for like 6 months. When is August, by the way? Is it like
3 months away?
Oh, 3 months away. So not 6.
3 and a bit, maybe.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. We don't know how a year works, so.
We have a totally different way of counting time.
But you guys do it in metric. It's crazy.
That's true.
Speaking of things shipping to people, we've been getting a lot of photos of people in their new connected shirts, and I got mine just yesterday, and they look awesome.
Where's your picture?
And everyone looks. Say what?
Where's your picture?
I was going to watch it first, so
okay.
I'll send you some photos for your wall of me later.
Are you still doing the shrine of people with the T-shirts, Steven?
I did it with the prompt shirts. I probably should do it with the connected shirts, but I just don't have any time. But
I would like to issue an official decree that you do
that.
That is, I'm Federico, do you second my motion?
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Motion seconded, and
do I have
passed.
any say in this dictatorship?
Well, yeah. This is a dual dictatorship scenario we got going on here.
I don't think dictators need a second motion to do anything.
He just wants to feel good about himself.
Yeah, I need to reinforce it.
Okay, so I'll put some pictures together for next week. People look very, very attractive in their shirts. They're nice. The colors are great. I'm very pleased with how they came out. So, thank you again to our awesome designer, Frank Towers, for putting that together.
if you do put together a web page, Steven, I'm just gonna ask you to sort the photos by beard quality of the people in the photos.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good metric.
Yeah.
But it's up to me to judge the quality of beard.
Yes. Yeah. It is up to you.
There's a lot of stress, guys.
I know.
I'm probably gonna fail you. Okay, so should we talk about topic 0.2?
Yes, please.
So Myke alluded to it a little bit ago. He and I, you and I, Michael,
Hi.
the two of us, with lots of other people, just got back from Atlanta, Georgia. We did the Atlanta Pin Show. The fans of the Pin Addict, which is a great podcast here on Relay FM, backed a Kickstarter project to bring you over from the Queensland to our humble southern soil to film the Pin Show. So we had a film crew down, and we did a live audio podcast, and all that's being edited and put together for Kickstarter backers. And I don't know what you want to say. I'm sure you guys are going to unpack it some more on the Pin Addict, but I for one had a really good time.
Oh, I had a fantastic weekend, and it was great to meet so many people, not just listeners of the Pen Addict, but listeners of Relay in general, and we had a great time. Federico, I met Doug Beal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Doug was there. Doug Beal from the chat room, our title suggester extraordinaire.
Wow.
Yeah, we met a bunch of people. It was
Doug
really
Beal?
The Doug Beal.
Oh, man.
We hung out, we hugged.
You touched him?
I did touch him. I don't know if he wanted to be touched, but I touched him.
Wow. Yeah, human contact is so like a strange concept to Americans, I think.
Yeah, I don't like being touched even for an American. Like,
Federico, do you do the kissing, like the kissing on the cheek?
Of course, two kisses.
Yeah. I've gotten more used to that since having a European girlfriend,
Oh yeah, because in Romania I think they do the same like in Italy.
They do.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So
yeah, of course. A lot of contact here going on. Yeah.
Wow. So Atlanta was a lot of fun, and I'm very tired still. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I fell asleep earlier, guys. Did I tell you?
That's fine. Follow-up was kind of boring. No, it was great. We had a party Friday night at Notco, which is Brad's business, and I don't know how many people were there. I mean, it was nuts.
It was over 60 people, I think.
Yeah, beer and pizza and a field note swap, which was crazy, and then the show itself, and you and I got some time to work on some stuff. So it was a lot of fun just to, you think of that world as being really separate from ours, but like I spoke on Upgrade this week with Jason, like what ties all these little nerd communities together is passion for what we're interested in, and that was definitely evident to me in Atlanta, and I think it was really great to see that little world, it's in parallel to ours over here in like the Apple, Mac, iOS camp. So
yep.
Thank you to everyone who came out and said hi, and it was great to talk to people, and we hope to do more of that sort of stuff in the future, I think. So.
Did you play any pen games together?
No. I do believe that when we were recording the show, there was a drinking game happening.
Oh, okay.
That was the rumor that I heard. But I don't know if there are any pen games. We swapped pens and played with pens of each other's, but I don't think there are any games specifically.
That's sad, but I understand.
For the next show, I'll create a game.
Yeah. But it has to be entertaining also on a podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a little bit more difficult, but I can work on that.
Maybe you could guess which pen is it by the noise of the pen against paper.
It's pretty good. That's a pretty good idea, actually.
See, I don't know.
You're a visionary.
I'm full of resources and ideas.
You are. You really, really are.
He's a thought leader, really, more than anything else.
Yeah, and also a frequent visitor of the German Apple Store. Besides, being a thought leader, that's what I do.
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand.
Can we move on to topic point 3?
Yeah, so topic 0.3. Yes, so in the midst of all of this, you were actually still in the States. I had just gotten home. But yesterday, we put up our teaser video for the Relay FM iPhone and Watch app.
Yep.
Which is super exciting. If you haven't seen this video, you should definitely go watch it. And The app is built by the guys over at Glide. They're also, to speaking Kickstarters, they just were funded in their Kickstarter for their new platform, and it's super great. Like, I can't say enough good things about Glide and their platform, and our app is going to be super awesome. It is super awesome. It will be out soon, etc., etc.
Yeah, we're working on it, but we wanted to talk about it now because Glide have got their Kickstarter going on, and the teaser video, like everything that's in the teaser video, is all actual stuff that's going to be in the app, like the UI and the animations and stuff like that. So Chris and Mateus and everyone at Glide, they're super good at like motion animation and things like that. So the app's going to really be like a living thing. We're very excited. Every time he sends us something, like a new animation, it's like, ah! So yeah, you should go check it out. We've got links in the show notes. Federico, Vitici, where can they find the show notes, please?
They can find them on a web browser. They can go to relay.fm /connected, and then there's going to be another slash, and then there's going to be a 3 followed by a 6.
Or they could just go to teletext page 36.
Yeah,
you can also get the show notes there as well.
Yeah. Now, you could tell I was buying time because I needed to check out the number of the last episode.
Yeah, I felt that.
I've done
that. A number 3.
Well, I mean, you can't expect me to remember the numbers of episodes that we have.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not Steven. Steven has a tattoo for all the episodes that he does. I don't.
It's true. My arms are getting full. It's sad, but yeah, so that link will be in the show notes. We'll have a link to the Glide Kickstarter page as well. And it's going to be great. You can favorite a show and get a push notification, including on your watch if they ever ship, and listen live, and there'll be chat and stuff. And it's a lot of fun to be working on it. So we'll definitely keep everyone up to date as we get closer to it.
So talking about the watch, today Apple are offering, they sent out an email to some developers offering the ability to enter a draw in which the lucky selected developers will receive a Sport with a blue band, which me and _David Smith agree is the best watch. They will any developers chosen in the draw will receive a guaranteed watch delivered by April 28th. And this is Apple saying they want to be able to give developers access to test their watch kits apps on the Apple Watch as soon as possible. This is really interesting, but it definitely does more to indicate the issues, maybe, is maybe one way to say it, in supply, if they're having to do a program like this.
Yeah, I mean, because everybody's waiting for a watch, and now they're in the position of, there's all these apps coming out for the watch. But the developers who made these apps actually tried them on a simulator, on a computer. They didn't try them on a real watch. And now they have to do a lottery. So it's not like they're offering developers a unique link where they say, okay, we want you to buy an Apple Watch. So you go to this link and you buy a watch and you will get the watch next week. This is a lottery to, basically you can apply to buy a watch. And if you're not chosen to buy one, you're still going to have to wait. I think, yeah, it kind of, I mean, it's nice, that they're giving developers a chance to get a watch sooner than expected. But it also highlights the problems of, supply chain problems. There's more people than watches. So now Apple is going to do lotteries for everything. You're going to do a lottery for WWDC, a lottery to apply to get a watch. There's going maybe to be another to download the next iOS beta faster. They should do lotteries for everything. It's fun, and it creates anticipation.
A lottery to see if your iCloud photos will sync. Clearly they've got supply issues, and that's a problem when they want people to have access to write apps for it. I was thinking about this. Has Apple been in a situation like this before? And OS X had a public beta. The iPhone went a year without applications on it. The iPad had apps on day one, but the iPhone and iOS were already around. So it's a little bit of an unusual situation that people are writing and publishing to the store software they haven't been able to run on an actual device. So as a developer, I would definitely be concerned if my watch was shipping later and my app were out there kind of without a lot of hands-on testing. But it seems like Apple's doing what they can to minimize that impact, which I think is good.
Yep. Okay, so shall we thank our first friend and then move into topic 0.5. We're not even at topic 1 yet. We got some real low-level topics today.
We're doing all the zeros today.
I can deal with that. This week's episode of Connected is brought to you by Hover. They are the best way to buy and manage domain names. Hover is the place that I go when I'm looking to name a project, when I'm looking to buy a domain for a project, when I'm looking to buy a domain to play a joke on a friend. Hover is the place for me. Coming up with ideas for names is like a really hard job. Like when I heard Stephen talking about this, I think maybe last week, when we were trying to come up with the name for Relay, which was like coming up to a year ago, that we spent like basically 2 days going backwards and forwards and fighting with each other, trying to come up with a name. And one of the when you're going through a situation like that, it can be really stressful for everyone involved, especially if there's multiple parties. So when you actually have an idea and you agree on something, before you get too attached to it, you want to be able to see if the domain's available. And if you're having to jump through all these hoops and all that kind of stuff, you're just going to be fighting with this urge to just get it out there, right? Because that's when once you come up with a name for something, it's like, right, well, that's that. But what Hover lets you do is just go in and search really easily, and you can just find out super quickly if it's available. And if it's not available, maybe the .com isn't available, but they'll show you if maybe the .net, the .co.uk, the .co, because they have all of those. They can show you if they're available. And if none of those are, they can even help you with adding some different variations on the name, so you can find the right name for you. Or maybe somebody owns the domain already, and you want to buy it. Actually, Hover can be like the arbitrator in that process. They can help you. Sometimes they have domains that they can help put in auctions, or they can go out and contact people and start that domain and auctioning process for you, which is really useful. If that's the kind of thing that you need to do and you want to do, then that can be extremely stressful. So having a company you can trust like Hover makes all of that way, way easier. Hover's domains, their .com domains, for example, start at $12.99. They've recently lowered the prices on all their domains. And one of my favorite things about Hover is every domain includes Whois privacy for free, which I really like. So your information won't be plastered all over the internet. They keep it nice and private for you. They have great customer support. They have no hold, no wait, no transfer telephone support. They have great email support that I used a couple of weeks ago when I was transferring one straggling domain into Hover. And they also have great guides. I was also using those to make sure I had all of my email records correct and stuff for Google Apps. They have great guides on the Hover website to help you do all of that, which is really great. You can go to hover.com right now, and you should be trying them out. If you have a new idea for a project or just a domain, maybe you even want to transfer, they have their valet service where they'll transfer all of your domains from your current provider into Hover for you for free. If you go and do all of that, if you use the code Myke was right, all one word, at checkout, you will get 10% off your first purchase at hover.com and show your support for Connected and all of Relay FM. That's Myke was right to get 10% off because, that's just the way it should be. Thank you so much to Hover for sponsoring this week's episode of Connected. Myke was right, guys.
It's true. I'm not even arguing it anymore.
You can't.
It's true. There's a 6+ setting right here. So topic, what is this? We're up to 0.5.
Yep.
Google and mobile search with apps. What's I didn't read this. What's Google doing?
This is something that Google announced last week. It's a new initiative for search on Android devices, for mobile search. Now, on Android, when you will look for something on Google search, if that content that you're looking for is inside a mobile app from the Google Play Store, even if that app isn't actually installed on your device, you will get a shortcut in Google search to install that application. So let's say you're looking for the lyrics to Wonderwall, and because Myke likes to sing Wonderwall and is looking on his Android phone for the lyrics.
I do
So
need
it gets
those. They're really important that I have those.
Yeah, so it gets in Google search, it gets bunch of results from websites, but at the top it gets from the Google Play Store an app that it doesn't have installed. Let's say Myke doesn't have Music's Match, the lyrics app on his Android device. But in Music's Match, the app, there's the lyrics to Wonderwall. So on Android now you can install the app directly from the Google search results. And once the app downloads, you click like continue, you tap on the continue button, and from search, you're taken to the newly installed app and into the Wonderwall lyrics. So you can find content from mobile apps, not just from websites. And that's not necessarily new because Google has been doing some this thing called app indexing that they can look into apps, for content on Google search. But now they can also look into apps that you don't have installed, and they can let you search, install, and continue your activity directly, into the apps. So a lot of people have been saying that this is going to be kind of important, for app discovery, because there's a lot of people who don't necessarily know which app they're looking for. They're just looking for content, whether it's lyrics or news or recipes, and being able to get to a native app in most cases is a superior experience, because you have all the benefits of a native app. And I've been thinking first whether this can actually be good for app discovery, but again, this is just it's limited to Android, and I feel like I'm not qualified enough to consider the implications. But in general, it made me think about what if Apple did something like this for Spotlight on iOS. And now, before you call me crazy, Spotlight can search apps from the App Store. You can look for Minecraft in Spotlight, and you tap on Minecraft and you get a pop-up without even leaving Spotlight, and you can install Minecraft. But what Google is doing is it's much different, because they're actually looking into content from apps. So they're looking at text, they're looking at images, they're looking not at the app's name, they're looking at what's inside an app. So I've been thinking, what Apple has been doing on iOS. Apple took the opposite approach as usual. They prefer to team up with specific, companies. So, for instance, in Spotlight and also in Safari, in the search box of Safari, you can look for directions from Apple Maps, of course, but you can also look for restaurants in Yelp. You can get results from Wikipedia, and so Apple does have this sort of idea of smarter search, but they're not doing what Google has been doing, with continuing your activity from search to an Android app. So I'm thinking this would be cool in Spotlight. I'm just not sure whether Apple is interested in this, and also if, let's say that they are, I'm not sure they can pull this off,
Yeah, you'd imagine that Google can do it because they know how to index, right? Like that's the thing. Like they know how Google, they've got the indexing of the data down. So like even if Apple wanted to do it, like can they? Like do they have this kind of technology? I don't know.
Looking at what Spotlight does, Spotlight's looking within documents and stuff, locally, but the second that you're kind of outside your own personal data, they're partnering and bringing in Wikipedia and all these different things, like they are on OS 10 and iOS. And so I don't know. I think sandboxing comes into play at some point. The way this is working, I don't know. I just don't know if it's possible with the way sandboxing works on iOS, because for the most part, unless this is built on top of the extensions, frameworks, apps are basically unaware of each other. But it would be nice to to be able to search for something and say that it's in my Dropbox or someplace else, and Spotlight be able to find it quickly on my iPad would really be great. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've stitched together all these different services, and I have data in all these different apps, and sometimes I can be like, where did I put that note? Where did I save that document? And having sort of a more universal look at what's available to me would definitely be welcome, especially on the go on iOS devices.
Yeah, I would definitely want this because like currently on iOS, Spotlight for me is just an application launcher.
Yeah,
like that's all I use it for. And even then, it's like sometimes for some reason it just cannot find the apps. Like my favorite is when it can't find like official Apple apps. Like I just type in, I don't know, like say I'm opening the official calendar app for some reason. I type in like CA and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like that's basically what I imagine it's saying. It's like you never use this app, so obviously we're not going to find it for you. Do you guys have this problem where sometimes Spotlight just doesn't? Okay, so it's not just me.
it's a very known bug and it's so annoying.
It's such a weird one as well.
Yeah, and they actually said that iOS 8.3 was supposed to fix the Spotlight not finding apps by name. But it's not true because it's still happening to me. Even on the 8.4 beta, it's still happening. So, but what I wanted to kind of continue on this discussion is the difference between what we want from our Spotlight on iOS and actually what's in Google's best interest for search. Because on Android, Google is saying, okay, we kind of want to treat apps as websites. So because we depend on, our business is based on search and ads, and advertisements, that kind of stuff, we want you to continue searching like you normally do. Just now you will also see results from apps. And now, again, you will also see results from apps that you don't have installed. And if you install them from our Google Play Store, you can continue your search easily. So Google wants to kind of bring search into the mobile age by letting you search into the content of apps, just like traditional Google search can look into websites. On iOS, what me and you, Steven and Myke, what we want is for Spotlight to kind of be more like on the Mac. Because on the Mac, I can look for my documents in the Finder, or, I can look for stuff around my computer. On iOS, like you said, Myke, it's just an application launcher. So the basic problem on iOS is that there's no Spotlight API for apps. For, if I'm a developer and I make an app that stores documents, I cannot say, okay, I am an application and I want to advertise my documents to the Spotlight agent on iOS, because there's no such technology on iOS. I can look for my reminders. I can look for my specific email messages from, Apple applications, but I cannot look for specific files into my Dropbox or Evernote or, any other third-party app on iOS. So I wouldn't be surprised, or rather, I would really, really wish for, better integration between Spotlight and apps in iOS 9, because I feel like it's truly time to be able to look for specific stuff into apps you keep on your device. Especially, with iCloud Drive, all this focus on documents and stuff. I feel like we got the technology in place for extensions, for document management. It's not perfect, but it's a good start. But we don't have the counterpart for search, because Spotlight is still an application launcher, or it can only look for specific items just for Apple apps. But what I don't see Apple doing is what Google is doing, not necessarily because of a philosophical problem, but because they don't have the technology, to index content in applications and to say, okay, we want to crawl the content of all the apps on the App Store, because also they would find a lot of Flappy Birds inside.
Yep. The Apple method would be, hey, we've provided this extension. If you want to show up in search results, push data out on this extension in this format, and we will, send it to us. Where Google wants to go out and crawl, I think Apple would say, hey, developers, provide us with some sort of manifest of what you have available to you that we can search, do all the heavy lifting for us, right? I mean, that's seems like a pretty typical Apple thing to do. Even if you look at extensions, they've been on Android for much longer, and they seem much more flexible, and I believe they're much easier to implement. Where in iOS, the system and Apple and everyone, it's up to the developer to build that stuff out. So I could see that coming. I think it makes a lot of sense. I agree with you. It's definitely time, and it seems like they're moving in a direction where, dealing with documents and data and notes and all this stuff should be easier. And so I would hope to see this sort of functionality done on iOS at some point.
At least, like, I'm would expect to see something like this for iCloud Drive documents.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, because that would be a selling point to use iCloud Drive as well.
Yeah, I mean, at least give me. I mean, it's great that we can keep all the documents from apps in a single place, and we got these special folders with icons, and they're cute. You know, they have icons, you can browse them and stuff. But at least give me some kind of iCloud Drive app on iOS where I can just open the app and, okay, I find all my documents and I type a document and it goes back into the original app and I have a search bar and I can look for documents. Instead, I have to keep third-party apps like Documents from Riddle or, you know, all these other third-party file managers just to tap on the iCloud Drive interface because otherwise there's no Apple unified solution to just say, okay, I want my iCloud Drive on my iPad. Where do I look? Can you explain to people how to look for iCloud Drive?
No, because I'm not even really sure how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So you gotta download an app that supports iCloud Drive, and then you will see a share sheet, and then on the share sheet you tap on iCloud Drive. I mean, it's awful. It's nice, the underlying idea, but it should be more like the Mac. Not saying that there should be a Finder on iOS, but at least give me a shortcut, a place where I can go and I find all my iCloud Drive stuff.
Well, like, because the thing that I find the most interesting about that is Apple have already built the UI, like, which is the document picker.
Yeah.
Like that would be the basic UI for an iCloud Drive app. So I agree it would be really, because it's still like everything is still kind of siloed. Like it's still kind of like, what app did I have that in? Was it in Byword? Oh no, it's not in Byword. So maybe it's in Editor. No, it's not here. Like, you know, if you don't have an app like Documents or something, or you don't think to open an app like that, you end up like playing a wild goose chase until you actually find the document in the place it's meant to be. Going back to Google though, I'm really fascinated as to what the business reason is for this.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like fundamentally, this is pushing Google's customers away from their standard revenue model, because ideally for Google, they want people to make Google searches because that's where the advertising revenue comes from, right? So, so the only thing, like I'm sitting there and thinking about this, maybe that like the idea is they just want people to search for everything. Because
that's the idea.
It builds in just an inbuilt, like, why would I look for anything? I just search for everything. And that just builds the behavior in people to just keep searching all the time. So then in the aggregate, people will hit more Google pages. But it's just very interesting to me to see that, because it's like they're showing an example of somebody looking for a perfect cup of tea, right? That's the thing here. So you kind of they Google they do like a OK Google search for it, and then it takes them to the Daily Mail app, which is a UK newspaper, and they find it inside the app. And like the process flow, they have a GIF on the page. You watch it; it's incredible. So you just search, you press install, it installs the app. Yep. Once the app is installed, the app automatically opens and completes the search. Like that's really cool.
That's very well done. And I feel like they wanna put you in the perspective of why would I look for anything, you know, outside of Google search? Because they want to make you understand that apps are kind of like websites. They have stuff inside, and you can go to Google search to find stuff, whether it's from a web page or from an app from the Google Play Store. It's kind of a hard trick to pull off, you know, because there's a very different mindset. You know, there's a website is one thing and a native app is another. And I find it fascinating, you know, especially all this transition from Google search, you install, you get to the content that you ask for. I think it's very clever, and it can be good for app discovery, you know, for developers who make apps that can show up in Google search. But again, it's weird. It's weird from a business perspective, because you're pushing people away from websites which carry Google ads, and you're giving them an easier shortcut to a native app which doesn't necessarily have Google ads inside. So it's kind of strange, and maybe Google doesn't care, or they have metrics that suggest that what really matters is just to get people hooked and to keep them searching on Google search. Maybe that's what matters to Google. I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, like this just could be something where Google, it's just a play for functionality. Like, so people look at like how we're looking right now at Android as being like, I would really like that. You know, if you do enough of those sort of things, that's what moves the needle for some people, right? If you keep giving them functionality they can't get on their iPhone, and it's functionality they really want, then maybe they're more inclined to move. Because that's the way that you do it, right? You just give people more of the stuff that they want but can't get. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice feature. I don't know if it will support, all kinds of apps. Will the unknown app from a third-party developer show up in Google search just like the app from The Guardian or Music Match do? I don't know. It's possible because they have this technology called app indexing that, seems to be open to everybody. I mean, there's the GIF on the Google blog shows BuzzFeed, the Daily Mail, and, pretty big websites. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's interesting. I don't know if they can kind of do this on iOS, maybe. No, I don't think they can, actually. Because on iOS, it would show the App Store, pop up. And then I don't think there's a way to trigger,
Yeah. They could leverage the indexing, maybe. But they wouldn't be able to push you out again.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, they could use some kind of URL scheme and, deep linking to take you directly into the specific page of, I don't know, Daily Mail. But I don't think they on iOS they can update in real time and say, okay, now on this device the user has downloaded this app from the App Store and the app has finished downloading and it can now be opened into this specific section. I don't think they can do that. They can do that on Android. They can kind of fake it on iOS, but it wouldn't be as seamless as it is on Android.
Right, we actually, believe it or not, have more Google news.
Yeah,
this is where we are now. We're all fed up of waiting for our Apple Watches, so we're just talking about Google instead. But before we do that, let me thank our second sponsor for this week's episode, and that's our friends over at Igloo, the internet you'll actually like. We all invest, we've been talking about new devices today, we all invest in these lovely devices all the time, but what is the point of having all these fantastic pieces of equipment that we have if you're just going to spend your time stuck in a web browser looking at an intranet that looks like it was built in the 90s? That's crazy talk, and this is what Igloo can fix for you. Not only can Igloo be customized to look exactly the way that you want and fit your company's colors, you can even fly the company logo in your Igloo intranet, but with Igloo's responsive design, it's automatically optimized to look fantastic on any and all devices. So Igloo is built from the ground up to look fantastic on your laptop, on your desktop, but also on your tablet and your phone as well. And just like your favorite devices, Igloo helps you do your best work. Igloo lets you easily and quickly share files, coordinate calendars, provide status updates, and manage projects with the people in your teams wherever you are, whenever you want. Igloo is not just for your traditional intranet stuff that you're used to, like managing HR policies and expense forms. It also lets you do better work together with the people that you work with. Igloo's latest upgrade, Viking, revolves around documents, and it helps you interact with them in a better way, allows you to gather feedback and make changes. They have a great HTML5 document preview engine, which makes sure that everyone's on the same page, and they also have now the ability to track who has read critical information to make sure that everyone's on the same page. It makes sure that Billy in accounts has looked at the training documents and that Mary in HR knows that he has done that. It's just a useful thing where she then doesn't have to go over and ask him and badger him and interrupt him during his lunch break to make sure he's done the training. She can just see because of a little read receipt that comes up in Igloo. It's very, very cool. If your company has a legacy intranet that looks like it's been stuck in the 90s, you should be giving Igloo a try. Igloo understands that love doesn't just happen overnight, so if you sign up right now, you can try out Igloo for free. This is for any team of up to 10 people for as long as you want. So sign up right now at igloosoftware.com/connected. Go check them out. It also helps support this show. Thank you so much to Igloo for sponsoring today's episode of Connected. So Federico.
Myke.
I've been so upset this week.
Why?
Because I had seen about this fantastic Chrome update right? For iOS.
Yeah.
It's a great Google Chrome update for iOS. I saw it on a lovely website called MacStories.net, which I think is an Android blog now. I think.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even link to the Google search news.
Kidding.
I wanted to discuss it on the podcast.
I'm just so excited about how much Google stuff you have for me this week. This is great. And I've been without data. I've been traveling. I've had to be roaming and dealing with hotel Wi-Fi, so I haven't been able to update Google Chrome. And one of the reasons I'm really excited is now Google Chrome has extension support, so I can use 1Password in Google Chrome, which makes me the happiest man ever. So tell me a little bit more about what is in this really great update for Google Chrome on iOS.
So for us tech nerds, you can now use extensions of all kinds. You can now use share extensions. You can use action extensions. You can use 1Password or other password managers like.
See, it had share extensions, so I could already share to other services previously, but it didn't have the extension support for like 1Password and stuff like that.
I think they didn't support like the action extensions of some types.
Yeah.
That's the idea, that they improved support for action extensions. So most notably, 1Password can now fill logins, usernames and passwords in Google Chrome. It's not as seamless or as basically perfect as it is in Safari. There's a couple of web pages, at least for me, my Italian bank, of course, because bank websites are always weird. There's a couple of logins that they don't play nice with 1Password in Chrome, but overall it's very nice. The other two big features, there's a bunch of new gestures on the iPhone. You can, not on the iPad, just on the iPhone version. And these new gestures, they're meant to let you more easily and comfortably use Google Chrome on your iPhone. So you can now swipe down and you get this custom pull to refresh done by Google. And
this is so good, man. I have so much to say about this.
Yeah, I told you about this when I was trying it.
Because you've been trying it out for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. It's actually true. Yeah. I was when I published my 6 Plus review, there was a photo of Google Chrome with the orange dot of the test flight beta, and I was afraid that people would like, oh, is that a Chrome beta? And instead they didn't, so I kind of kept it quiet.
Can I just share a quick frustration I have with the orange dot?
Sure.
So I have this problem more with the orange dot than the blue dot, right? They're kind of see-through, right? So because I have like a background with a crazy pattern on it, across my home screen, some dots are yellow and some dots are orange, and it drives me mad. They're not the same color. And like the blue one, there's slight variations, but because it's a darker color, it's blue, like it doesn't get as affected so much, and the difference between blue and purple isn't as harsh as yellow and orange, and it drives me mad. Like, it just please, just make it a solid color.
That is a Syracusean level of frustration with a tiny, tiny piece of technology.
It drives me crazy, Federico. It really, really does. I hate it. I just wish I wasn't
So
dots
the
at all.
shade of the orange dots.
I don't want dots. I just don't want dots. Like, just get rid of the dots.
Remember when they used to do the little tag that said new, like the little banner that would
I
cut
prefer
across
the banner. I prefer the banner because the thing that annoys me about the dots is it then truncates the text. So OmniFocus just says Omnif. ... It drives me mad. I hate it. I hate it so much. But that's my rant about dots.
Okay. So anyway, there's this custom pull to refresh swipe down gesture that Google has done on Chrome for the iPhone. And what I mean by custom is that you can swipe down to refresh the web page. And that is, it's the basic gesture. But what's different is that instead of being, it's more like a tray of icons at the top. When you swipe down, you get this refresh icon in the middle, and you get two other icons. One to close the current tab, and another plus button to create a new tab. And what's really smooth about this implementation is that while you're swiping down, while you're still holding your finger on the screen, you can quickly move the finger to the right or to the left to make this indicator at the top, which is a blue one, basically pop from the middle position to the left or to the right. And effectively, it's like 3 gestures in one, because you can just swipe down and then move your finger quickly to the left or to the right to open a new tab or to close the current one. And it's harder to describe than it is in practice, but it's really fast and really convenient, especially if you have a big phone like all of the 3 of us do. You can, instead of reaching out to the top to create a new tab or to close the current tab, you can just swipe down and then either to the left or to the right, and you're done. It's really quick, really, really, really. It's really well done. And I know that Myke is a fan of this new gesture. So are you happy, Myke?
Oh, very. This is like when I spoke about this, like I think when I originally got the 6 Plus, like I was talking about how many developers, in my opinion, have not considered the larger phone sizes. Like Twitterific is a really pretty app, right? But all of its UI sits at the top of the screen.
Oh man, yes.
And there's no way of changing that. And it's like, are you using any big phone, like at all? Like it's crazy to me, like that you would keep it all up there still. And this is like one of those things where I was concerned before there has been this recent people trying out the 6 Plus more often, that I was worried that people would just forget about the 6 Plus and that things wouldn't continue to be developed more specifically for it. And this is, I think, really great app design from Google. Like, this is one of the first things that I've seen that reminds me of pull to refresh. Like, this idea of important navigation, which is frequently used, being placed in a position like this. Because obviously pull to refresh is one of the things that's in here, right? But also the idea of adding a new tab, closing the current tab. Like, they're frequently used things in a web browser. So, like, this is like an advancement of pull to refresh that really makes sense on these larger screens. Like, this is already just a thing that I do now. I just know that happens. And I love it. I really wish they would add one more for the share extension, but...
Exactly. That's the... Yes, I agree. I'm struggling to have a stronger agreement with you. I really agree.
That's something that I would love. And I would also love, and I don't know how they would do this, I think this needs to be just a thing, an easier way to jump to the top.
Yeah, because you gotta tap the status bar.
Yeah, or just scroll really quickly. But Google's Chrome, I think they may have pushed this change out too early. They changed the way that the scrolling inertia is on Google Chrome, and it makes more sense now, because it now scrolls a lot faster. And now I can now I'm not, because that frustrated me, but now I'm happy about that. Because if I'm like at the end of a page or whatever, now I can scroll super fast up to the top. But yeah, I really, really love this. This is just very smart app design. And it's now, like Google Chrome, I just feel even better about my browser choice now that I have the extension support and a really nice way to interact with browser tabs.
Yeah, but there's one more thing, Michael.
Oh!
There's a widget.
Oh yeah, I've actually only just enabled that. I've not really tried it out. So what's the good news about this widget?
So it's a simple widget. You can swipe down, you open Notification Center, and you get 2 shortcuts for Google Chrome. One to open a new empty tab in the browser, and another one to start a new voice search in Google Chrome. I saw a lot of people making fun of these 2 shortcuts in the widget, and I can understand, because they're pretty useless, I think. I usually, when I want to create a new tab, I just go to the web browser, or I open a link from an app like, I don't know, my RSS reader or my email. But what's really, really great, I think, about the widget is that it supports opening links in Chrome after you copy them from anywhere. So say you're into Messages or Apple Mail or Safari or whatever, and you just want to copy a link and go to Google Chrome. Before, either you did some kind of crazy iOS automation, with Workflow or Drafts or Launch Channel Pro, or you had to go to Google Chrome, so copy a link, close the current app, find Google Chrome, open Google Chrome, and go to the Omni bar, so the address bar at the top, or is it Omnibox? Is it Omnibox or Omnibar?
I think I say Omnibox now because
Box,
it's not
yeah.
a bar.
So, and you had to go there and paste the link. Now, with the new widget, you can just copy a link, you swipe down from anywhere. When you copy a link, there's a new shortcut. It says copy link, and you tap it, and you're taken to that link, but in Google Chrome instead. So it's really easy if you're using an app that doesn't have native Google Chrome integration on iOS, and there's plenty of apps that have direct Google Chrome support now. But if you're using an app that doesn't, like Apple's apps, or there's still a bunch of others, you can just copy links the old way, but you use the widget to get to Google Chrome quickly. And so I don't understand why people are making fun of the widget, because this functionality alone is worth the widget. I think it's really convenient, and I'm using it all the time because I'm trying to see Google Chrome on iOS, what's up. They've been doing some nice work, I think, lately. So I'm trying to see if it can be used. It's been many years since I last used Google Chrome, so I kind of want to catch up, because I'm young. I gotta stay current. I gotta keep my brain fresh. I don't want to grow old. So I want to try new experiences. I sound like one of those people who go to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Only the app version.
It's a similar kind of thing. The last thing I was saying is I actually think the most impressive part of the widget is that they have built the animations for material design into it.
Yeah. True.
So like when you tap the buttons, it does like the expansion from the circle. I can't. I mean, I don't know, but I can only imagine that was incredibly difficult to do. That just feels like something that's really hard.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do like that. Google is, it's keeping its personality in its apps. If you go to Drive or Sheets or something, you get the big band of color at the top, like you do on the web. I think they're doing a good job at making sure all their apps feel googly, even on iOS. And if you use a lot of them, it starts to feel like you're just in a little Google ecosystem on your phone or iPad. And I think it's a good thing from their perspective.
Yeah, I like that. It keeps that design language. I think is a really smart way of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, should we take our final break and then talk about music streaming?
Sure.
Yay!
This is the Federico episode. This makes up for you not talking last week.
Yeah.
This week's episode of Connected is brought to you by Wealthfront, the automated investment service that makes it easy to invest your money the right way. Wealthfront software manages your money using investment strategies that were previously only available to the wealthiest of investors, and they will do this for you for just 1/4 of the cost of using a traditional advisor. Wealthfront monitors your account 24/7, automatically rebalancing your portfolio, reinvesting dividends, and working to maximize your after-tax returns. Wealthfront is overseen by a team of investment experts. These are people who launched the index fund revolution and who have written some of the most important books in finance, so you know that your money's in safe hands. In case you're still not convinced, you should know that Wealthfront manages over $2 billion in client assets and has saved millions of dollars on taxes for its clients. So with Wealthfront watching over your investments every day, what will you do with all your extra time? Visit wealthfront.com/connected to get your first $10,000 managed for free. Wealthfront Inc. is an SEC registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are offered through Wealthfront Brokerage Corporation, member FINRA and SIPC. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell securities. Investing in securities involves risks and there is the possibility of losing money. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Please visit wealthfront.com to read their full disclosure. Federico.
Myke.
I know you want to talk about Apple's music streaming service. We touched on this a little bit, and then I can see you've had some more thoughts on this, which I'm excited about. But I want to tell you a little story.
Okay.
So I was having some problems with having my phone accept overseas SIMs. I have an unlocked 6 Plus that I bought from Apple. I have recently found out that, this is at least what my carrier is telling me, that if you buy an unlocked phone from Apple and you put a SIM into it, it automatically locks to that carrier and you have to request a carrier unlock. There is a word of warning.
Oh, this is the same issue with the Romanian SIM.
This was the problem with the Romanian SIM, yeah.
Okay.
When I was trying to get that to work and couldn't get it to work. So that is a word of advice for all of you that have what you believe to be an unlocked phone, to check that before you travel. So this is what I've been told, that it can, and carriers can then lock it. So I had to get it unlocked again. So in the process of getting my phone unlocked, I had to restore my phone, which everybody knows is my favorite thing to do. So I did a full restore and seemed like everything went okay. And I restored from a backup. And then I was on a plane today.
I know where this is going.
And I opened Beats Music. And all of my music still had those little pink down arrows to signify to me that everything was downloaded to my device. Why would I assume it wouldn't be? And I put it into offline mode and nothing worked. And I was very confused by this. And so I looked into my library and everything was showing in the offline library. Then I went into the settings and looked in the download information. And it said I had 0 songs downloaded to my device. And I am very upset about this because I have then had to, when I got home today, I have had to log out from the app, log back in again, and then manually go in and set every album to download again to my device.
Wow.
That's awful.
You know what always works on an airplane?
Yeah.
iPod Classics.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way that these music streaming apps download stuff on your device, like these caches that they create, they never, in my experience at least, and now Myke, in your experience too, they never work with the backup and restore of an iOS device.
Yep.
Which is probably Apple's fault, because this stuff should work better. I don't think it's an issue only of the Beats Music app. I think it's an issue with any other kind of local cache on your device, especially for music streaming stuff, or even video caches. I used to have one of those unofficial YouTube clients that used to download videos offline, and I remember like it was 3 years ago maybe, I did a backup and restore, and it didn't keep the videos, and I was really upset. But this was before I knew you, so I didn't have a podcast to complain about that. But yeah, same issue.
I was so upset because the thing that annoyed me the most about it is it's not even the fact that this happened, is that the UI showed me that it was downloaded.
Well, to be fair, they've been acquired, so maybe there's no engineer anymore
Do you know what?
To remove the pink arrows from the app.
Yeah, when they're there and they're just waiting, they want to do this, that somebody's there is waiting for any moment to remove them for me.
Can you imagine like Tim Cook walking in, actually Eddie Q walking into the office, like, hey, where's the guy in charge of the pink arrows? And like, there's no guy anymore because there's no office anymore.
Yep.
It's just the Apple office in Cupertino. I'm sorry for you, Myke. So you didn't listen to music?
No, couldn't.
What did you do on the plane?
I listened to The Flophouse, which is a podcast that I enjoy, but I wanted to listen to music. I had a song in my head and I wanted to listen to it. And I also wanted to put some music on so I could sleep more comfortably, but could not do that. Was disallowed by Beats Music.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sad.
Yeah.
The story of woe, really.
It
for
was
the modern
a story
time.
of woe.
But like Federico said, they've been acquired, and now there are rumors that something might be happening in June. So yeah, what do we think about that?
This is what I wanted to discuss with you guys. The rumor is that there's going to be some kind of announcement for an Apple music streaming service powered by what used to be Beats Music, and that is going to be into the new music app for iOS 8.4. We discussed the new app, I think last week, and we talked about how all the features and the design choices seem to suggest that there's going to be room for streaming in the app. So I've been thinking, I was a fan of Beats Music last year, way before the acquisition, when people used to make fun, hey, it's the music streaming service from Dr. Dre and stuff,
Yeah, I was thinking this the other day, that people might think that me and you just use this app, like, because Apple bought it. But we were both using it for a long time before, like,
in
when
January.
it started.
Yeah, months before.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw, the curation, it was a different approach to music streaming, and it was really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking now, let's say that the rumor is true, and I do believe that the rumor is true, because, they acquired the company. what do we want from an Apple Music streaming service? What do we want, and maybe what do we need? Because Apple is kind of late to the music streaming business. There's no music streaming from Apple at all. So I want to first to ask you guys, what do you want from Steven? I don't know if you want anything at this point, but what would you like from an Apple Music streaming service?
I mean, what I would like is something that
works
is
on
attractive.
an iPod Classic.
Well, no, something that's attractive to me as someone who I don't want to deal with that, downloading a bunch of music and then having to sync it over or hope that it's there after a restore. Like, that's something that works, and I want something that has the ability to blend local tracks and stuff available on the service, because none of these services, even the bigger ones, have everything, and you end up in the situation where you have stuff in Rdio or Beats or Spotify, and then you also have the music app with like weird stuff that you synced over. And so with all this being first party now, theoretically Apple could do something about that and make it more of a combination or some sort of blended experience. And that, I think, is like the holy grail for a lot of users. I mean, I know a lot of people who use something like Spotify but still have iTunes around for that stuff that's not available. And we'll see if that dream comes true.
Can I stop you right there, Steven? Because that's exactly what Google Music does. I know.
You can hear the pain. You can hear him. Welcome to Connected, the leading Google podcast on the internet.
But the rest of Google Music is so bad. Like,
no, listen to me. It's not terrible anymore. So you can. So it used to be called, the super long name, Google Music Play, All Access, whatever. Now it's just, I think, Google Play Music. So it's kind of more decent name. But besides the name, they let you do the what you want, the blend of local tracks. So you can upload songs up to 50,000 songs. I think it's more than iTunes Match. So you can upload songs from your computer. And
GoogleStories.net.
And you can upload songs from your computer, and you can use music streaming, like streaming songs that you don't own at the same time. So I wanted to try Google Music a few weeks ago, and I chose to take my Taylor Swift album from my iTunes library because it's not available on Spotify and other streaming services, including Google Music. So I uploaded 1989, which is the album's name, to Google Music with the Google Uploader, whatever the name is. So when I'm in Google Music now, I can look for streaming stuff, as usual. And I can also look for the Taylor Swift album that I uploaded. Like, they coexist in the same interface. Actually, if you go to your Google Music library, you see in the same interface streaming albums that you added to your library, and also stuff that you uploaded from your Mac, which is nice. I think it makes sense for people like you who want to there's this album that I can't find on music streaming services, and now, I can see the combination of the two making sense. It's not perfect in Google Music because they're still terrible at many, many things, as I will discuss in a bit, but they do have this feature. So maybe, Steven, next week you will try Google Music.
I'm busy with all the pictures of beards next week.
You always have an excuse not to try the young stuff.
It's true.
Hey, Federico, Fabi in the chat room is letting me know that GoogleStories.net is available for $13. You should go to Hover and buy that.
No, that's not. I don't want to have a Google story.
That is not a dumb domain name to have, though.
I don't know. Is it really available?
That's what I'm being told.
Yeah, well, I will check. It's just, I have an intellectual interest more than anything in being up to date with what's going on. Mm-hmm. That's all. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Steven wants the unification of kind of iTunes Radio, iTunes Match, and regular iTunes music files, and the new music streaming stuff from Apple. What do you want, Myke?
Beats does so much of what I like. I mean, there are frustrations with the app. Like, the catalog is good enough. The curation stuff I really want to stick around, but the app really does need some love. Like offline mode in general makes Beats Music pretty upset, and I've also had this thing where it just randomly cuts off like 10 seconds of a track, and it's like impossible to get it back. So there is definitely some just technical work that needs to occur, like to make the app really the best it can be. I'm not really that interested anymore in uploading my own music. It's just not something that I need to do. If I'm paying for a subscription service, there's a good chance they've already got it. And on the odd occasion that they don't have it, like there's maybe like 3 albums that I own that music streaming services don't have. So I just have them in the music app. Like that's not a problem for me. I know why a lot of people do want that, especially if you have more obscure music or like lots of live recordings or something. But for me, that's not really a big thing. But I do really want the app to think more intelligently about offline mode, making it easier for me to get into it, or just putting itself into offline mode more easily. And that comes from a lot of the places that I listen to music. It's like underground, you know?
Yeah.
So I've always felt that no apps really intelligently use offline mode, and or just maybe default to offline mode until I request something online. Will be a much better way for me. So like because what the app is constantly trying to connect to the server to make sure I'm not like, oh heaven forbid, stealing music for a day. Like just chill out. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, especially now that we have iPhones with, at least 64 gigs of storage. I think I'm finding myself saving more and more albums for offline listening just because I have the space. So, why not? When I'm driving, I don't want to use my 4G data. I can just use the offline album on my device. So, yeah, I agree. A lot of apps don't make good use of offline mode.
And also, I want it to be available in Europe, like straight away.
I mean, of course. Actually, that's a good jumping point for me because I made my own list, as you can already tell from the document that you have in front of you. But our listeners don't. I think about this stuff usually when I'm in the shower or cooking. Like I keep thinking about music streaming. That's the stuff that I do. Video games, music streaming. What else? iPads. These are my thoughts. Anyway, the first point that came to mind was the Beats Music curation. That was the big deal with Beats Music. All the curated playlists, the recommendations, what's the deep cuts? I think was the name of the human curated selections from albums from a specific artist.
Great album tracks, basically.
Oh yeah. And so I'm thinking, this curation, if Apple is doing music streaming, first question, are they doing music streaming internationally at launch? Or is it going to be another iTunes Radio scenario, which is basically just available in the US and Canada? Or are they going to do a real, international rollout, a real Apple service for everybody else outside of the US and Canada? I hope so, but my question is, besides, getting the rights to have music streaming internationally, can they also do curation internationally? So can they assemble a team of people in each country to create these curated playlists or sections? Can they have someone in Italy, a team of people in Italy, curating what's popular right now, or maybe the history of Italian music? Can they do this then for any other country? Because in the United States, what Beats Music did was they assembled a team of music journalists, reviewers, and just in general experts of the music industry. And they assembled this team, and Apple, based on what I know, they took many of these people in at Cupertino. And can they do the same for, in Italy, in France, in Germany? Can they do the same in all the other countries where the iTunes Store is available? Because my other question is it going to be this music streaming service, if it exists, is it going to be available in the same countries where the iTunes Store is available, which should be around 155, I think, maybe more? Or is it gonna be, again, like iTunes Radio, a separate rollout, a separate, uh, set of countries where it's available? I don't know, but I'm seeing, even Google last year, after, shortly after the Beats Music acquisition, they bought Songsa, a company focused on curation and playlists for music streaming. And they're doing this, I think, in the US and recently in the UK. They're doing this curated front page for Google Music, which is based on the Songsa playlists. Mm-hmm. And they're not doing this in other countries because they don't have a curation team internationally. So if Google is struggling, I don't know if Apple has a team or plans to have a team, or even if they plan to continue doing, that kind of curation. Because when I say curation, I don't mean, okay, there's a bunch of new releases every week, what's the best stuff. That's not curation. Because go to Beats Music, you see a lot of playlists and sections and collections, and you can tell that they've been assembled with taste, with deep knowledge of music. When I say curation, it's not just, picking a bunch of singles and a bunch of albums and say, oh, we curated the front page. So I'm curious to see if they will, have a team.
So I would be very surprised if they had local teams around the world. Like, I think it's just going to be English music focused in the US, most likely. I think that is just going to be the way it's done, because that's just a lot of people. And my hope for why we haven't seen iTunes Radio really break out into Europe is that they decided to just put the resources into getting this ready. Like,
that makes sense.
To whatever, like, let's just call it Beats for the sake of giving it a name, that they want to get Beats in every country, or they want to get it in as many countries as possible. I don't think it's going to be in every country that iTunes is in, at least initially. But I would be very surprised if they just launched a big project like this only in the US. But they did it with Apple Pay. But I would like to think that they maybe have a little bit more sway with the music record labels. And this was something I really remember. I really wish I could remember who sent this in. But someone said, we were talking about like how Eddie Q would start the deals and Jobs would close them. Somebody tweeted at us to say, like, imagine if, like, now Jimmy Iovine is the one that closes the deals.
It's possible.
And that would make a Beats acquisition worth it in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus you got the team, you got the streaming service, you get the headphones, you get this full package of resources. I think it makes sense. So next on my list, anyway, now, I don't know if this is just my frustration. I know that there's other people like me out there, so I'm kind of reaching out, and it's a call for help, basically. I struggle to find a proper, well-done new releases section on every streaming service that I try. And I tried them all. I tried Spotify, I tried RDO, I tried Beats Music. Now I'm trying Google Play Music. I even signed up for Tidal, the Jay-Z streaming service a few weeks ago. And so I tried them all. I mean, I don't think I tried Deezer. Maybe I should try Deezer at one point.
Don't bother.
Anyway, I'm the kind of music guy who wants to, I have a bunch of bands and artists that I follow. And I want to keep current on what they do. I want to stay up to date with, new singles, new records. And in the music industry, there's a specific day of the week. It is Tuesday. I think it will change to Friday to conform to the other, entertainment industry, the movies and video games. But it still is Tuesday, the day when new music comes out. And so it is called New Music Tuesday on Spotify and other places. And it's the day when you get to listen to new singles, new albums, and, all that's new. And I think it is essential for a streaming service to get this section right, because you want people to be able to find new stuff, because people like new stuff, because, new is new. And so I tried all these services, and they all tend to get this wrong for some reason or another. So RDO was the only one that got their new releases section kind of right, because each Tuesday...
that was good. RDO was good.
It was good.
At that, yeah.
Was good. Each Tuesday, they will send you an email and they will say, yeah, there's new music for you, and there's a new releases section right there in the app, or at least there used to be, because the problem is that, RDO changed a lot since I last tried it. But based on what I know, they used to send you an email, there's new music, you go to the section, you find new music. And it was really well done, and for more than 2 years, I used RDO and loved the new releases section. Spotify is surprisingly, kind of in the middle of this, because they don't have a real. I mean, they do have a new releases section, but it's not updated. Each Tuesday as RDO does. Instead, what they do is they have a new Music Tuesday kind of subsection with a playlist done by the Spotify team. And if you subscribe to this playlist, each Tuesday you get a notification and there's new music, new songs added by the Spotify team. And sure enough, there's new singles, new songs, and I'm subscribed to this playlist, and I go there and I find new singles. And it's pretty good, but not perfect, because it's not like the RDO section where you get, you get a date at the top and you get a list of albums, sorted by popularity, which I think makes the most sense. So Spotify has a section, but it's not updated. They have a playlist, which is convenient, but it's not a real section. Which brings me to Beats Music, which, based on my what I remember from last year, there is new releases, and they also kind of rotate on the front page, but it used to be super confusing to find a list of new releases by all genres, It's like they're doing a bunch of, you can go into this category and you find new releases here, or you can go to the front page and if you're into this artist, we suggest a new release for you, but there's no single place where you go and say, okay, I want to see all new music from Tuesday. Give that to me. There's no, Myke, am I wrong? Is there any, section like this in Beats Music?
If there is, I've never been able to find it. Like, I always go to, there's one tab where it sometimes shows that, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, a lot of services do this sometimes thing where, like, sometimes you can find new music, other times you don't. Which, it's just after years of, I've been on music streaming services for like 6 years at this point. And each Tuesday, I want to go there and I want to find new music. And every time there's something wrong with them. Google Music is terrible at new releases. It's the worst. It's the worst service that I tried from this standpoint. So, Google Music is tied to your Google account. And if you want to keep a real personal Google account like I do, you gotta give Google your location. You gotta say, I live in Italy, because, they use that for like two-factor authentication. They use that for Google Maps, for your address, and, all the stuff that Google does. So of course, I'm Italian. I live in Italy. And that's the problem for many things, but in this case, for Google Music. So when I go to Google Music, there's an Explore section in the left menu. There's a menu on the left. You open the menu, there's Explore. So I decide to explore because I'm a brave man, and I explore, and there's a bunch of tabs at the top, and you can switch from recommended to new. There's also other tabs, but I don't care. So when you go to new, because I'm Italian, but also because I'm into English music, I think Google Music is confused. So they're giving me new releases for Italian music, which I never, ever listened to. And, actual music that I listen to, like, I don't know, Foo Fighters or Noel Gallagher, So I get this mix of Italian music and, pop singles from the Italian top charts. And,
rock to Italian music?
I don't. See, that's the point. They're only giving those new releases to me because they assume that because I live in Italy, because I'm Italian, I'm interested in Italian new releases. But what's really driving me crazy about this is that this is a real problem, right? I live in Italy, but I don't care for Italian stuff. Don't give me Italian content ever. And Google understands this problem because in YouTube, they have a setting to say, I don't want to see regional stuff ever. Just give me the US or the worldwide YouTube. Don't give me the Italian front page. And that's what I did. I go to YouTube and I say, don't ever show me Italian videos because I don't care. And there's no way to do the same in Google Music, which is dumb because in Google Music, there is YouTube integration. That's another thing, Steven. You can look for your own music, you can look for streaming music, and you can look for YouTube videos in Google Music. It's all unified in the same app. So they have YouTube integration, but they don't let you change the regional settings. So my new releases section in Google Music is a bunch of Italian bands that I don't care about, and actual real bands that I care about. And so it's useless for me. So what I'm stuck because I'm going to websites to find out more about new releases. I'm still keeping my Spotify subscription because I have a family account that I need, and I'm not sure about whether Google Music will stick around. But man, is their implementation of new releases wrong? It's really just wrong.
Nobody's got it right though. Like really,
no.
I don't think anyone's really got it right.
But see, that's the point. Apple kind of gets it right on the iTunes Store front page, but
yeah,
that's...
I give that. Yeah, I buy that actually because that was what I mean. I've said this before. Like I used to go in and like buy a couple of new albums every week because they just surface good stuff to the front page.
Yeah. They tend to surface popular, bands and other artists. It's just they know what's popular, so they give you the new releases for popular stuff.
And I can't help but wonder if the curation like manpower problem also solves new release issues. Like, can iTunes do it because they have a bunch of people, keeping up with what's going to be new and what they should push, and they have an editorial calendar where, like, is on Spotify is like one intern in charge of New Music Tuesday, and he's not very good at it. Like, could that be solved with more man hours?
Yeah, probably. So real quickly, I had other wishes for Beats from Apple. Family accounts. Me and my girlfriend, we want to share the same music streaming subscription because we want to save a couple of euros each month because we both have to use music streaming for different needs, but we both need to. And I think Beats Music has family accounts, just in the US, of course. So hopefully Apple will consider, does Apple have any kind of family subscription for iCloud? I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
It's not exactly promising for, a streaming service. So anyway, family accounts. Hopefully. What's really interesting for me is the consideration of having different kinds of content into Beats Music. Before the acquisition, I think Beats Music was already doing that kind of thing where they allowed artists to showcase non-music content to users of the app. So you could look for, I think, merchandising like hats or other accessories, t-shirts, because I think there used to be some kind of partnership between Beats Music and another company that used to provide this service. Now I'm thinking it would make sense, because Apple has an interest in like the music industry in general. Like when Apple does iTunes Festival each year, you can tell that they care about music kind of as a lifestyle, And it wouldn't surprise me if Apple continued to offer this kind of, I wouldn't say recommendations, but I would say you go to the streaming, to the Beats Music app, and you go to your artist page. And besides a list of albums and a list of songs, maybe you should be able to see more. Maybe you should be able to see, status updates from your favorite artists, or you should be able to see concert dates. Maybe you should even be able to buy concert tickets with Apple Pay inside Beats Music. It wouldn't be too crazy when you consider all these little technologies and pieces that Apple has already into place, especially when you consider the company's affection for music and the company's past, because this is not too dissimilar from Ping. I know that we used to make fun of Ping, but I think that,
we're still making fun of it.
And
we're still making fun. I think there was like the seed of a good idea in Ping, which is to connect easily a listener to an artist and to see what an artist is doing. Because nowadays the kids are going to Twitter and Instagram to see, Beyonce wearing an Apple Watch or whatever, Liam Gallagher is doing. But to be able to see this stuff, to be able to see where the next concert is, or, to buy a concert ticket with Apple Pay just, by using your fingerprint, I think there could be potential there. And it would be fascinating to see, Beats Music expanding to these different types of connection. Because, Trent Reznor and Jimmy, they're all about, they always said in previous interviews, we want to make it easy for artists to connect with their fan base. And I think it would make sense for Apple to pursue, this kind of integration. If anything, I want to see Apple buy Songkick, which is an app that I love, that I use on a daily basis, and it would be awesome to see Songkick integration in the music app. Songkick is a service to receive notifications for concerts by your favorite artists when they're playing in your area. It's awesome. I use it every time. In fact, I just got a notification for the Foo Fighters concert in Bologna this year, which I'm going to.
I'm going to London, like, at a tour.
Nice.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I have more thoughts on music. I think I don't have time. I can feel Steven wanting me to continue my thoughts next week. And I agree, Steven.
It's like telepathy.
Yeah, I can just picture him just nervously looking at the timestamp in QuickTime and wanting me to shut up in a good way. And I agree. I can do that.
Well, I think what you have left in your outline is really interesting, like stuff with Apple TV, and I think there's a lot more here to explore.
Yeah.
You, my friend, have just been produced. That's what this is. But I like it. Right, I think that's about it for this week then. If you want to catch all of our Google-related show notes, you can go to relay.fm/connected/36, and you can find a lovely list there. Thanks again to our sponsors this week, Hover, Igloo, and Wealthfront. If you would like to find us online, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can find Federico at macstories.net. You can find Stephen at 512pixels.net. Federico is at Viticci, Viticci on Twitter. Stephen is at ISMH. And I am at iMyke, IMYKE. And we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for listening. Until then, say goodbye, guys.
Arrivederci.
Adios.